All right, here we are with Johann Kerbrat, Vice President General Manager of Robinhood Crypto. Johann, it's so great to have you on the Defiant podcast. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to chat today.
Yeah, same. So Robinhood is obviously one of the biggest fintech companies and investment applications for just like the mainstream market in the US and Europe. And it's really kind of led the way with incorporating crypto and allowing access to crypto to the masses. So yeah, very excited to dig into Robinhood's long-term vision and different products you're working on. So just to start, I'd love to get like a general idea of what Robinhood Crypto's history has been. So if you can walk me through when Robinhood first started adding crypto to its investment products, what different products it offers. Maybe if you have like the backstory on, how the early conversations were like when it was like first considering adding crypto, like why you decided to add crypto, all that kind of background.
Yeah, absolutely. I can try to do my best to explain a bit this spirit of the company. But so we started to add crypto in the beginning of 2018. At the time, we only launched with a very few assets, and at the time there was a strong belief that crypto was going to be here to stay, and it was something that our customer wanted. And so even then, it was post kind of the summer of 2017, and we were back in the winter where there was not a ton of traction of crypto. The leadership at the time and still decided that it was very important to offer crypto in the product. And so it launched in February of 2018. And then at the time, it was only buy and sell of cryptocurrencies. And slowly we started to add more and more features. And, in 2021, for example, we started to launch crypto transfer. So eligible customers could deposit and transfer out crypto from the platform. And then we also started to add more assets and build a lot more features after that.
Can you give me an idea of what Robinhood's general take on crypto is?
Yeah, I think for us, the way we think about crypto is that it's going to be the financial framework of tomorrow, not just like as an asset class or as instruments, but also in a way where companies will actually operate. We think that blockchain can bring a lot of efficiencies, reduce cost of operation, and also improve kind of the experience for the end customer. And so we really think that it can become this operating system for financial companies. And if you look in the past, like we've seen a lot of these efficiencies in different ways. If you think about tokenized real-world assets, for example, with stablecoin, with cash dollar that is tokenized and put on the blockchain, you can see how much more efficient it is compared to traditional wire. Like you don't need to wait. You can send 24/7. It's instant or almost instant. It's not reversible, so that you have no risk of fraud or anything like this. So, this is a type of thing that we start to see a lot more customers excited about it. We start to see companies using it a lot more because it's more efficient. And we think that more and more instruments and systems are going to move to blockchain.
Right now, how much of Robinhood's volume does crypto account for?
Crypto volume kind of changed based on the market and a lot of things. But what has been exciting is like our volume has been going up recently. In November alone, for example, we've seen more than 30 billion in volume, and that was up 400% compared to October, which was already a good month. So, I think this is a really good proof that crypto is here to stay, and it's something very important for Robinhood as well.
So 70 billion in crypto volume in November.
Sorry,
and
sorry,
30.
the accent.
Okay,
Yeah.
30 billion of crypto volume in November. And how much was Robinhood's total volume?
That I wouldn't tell you. I wouldn't know. I'm on the crypto side, so I know the crypto volume.
Okay. Do you have an idea of like roughly what share crypto is of Robinhood's total volume? Doesn't have to be specifically November, maybe an average of like past quarter, or just an idea of how important crypto is for Robinhood.
I think that's also something I could get back to you. I think it's hard to compare just the volume. There are different also take rate. There are different ways of monetizing, and so and we have multiple business line now. It's not just stock and crypto. So we have the crypto revenue, we have the crypto volume, but there's also many business line at Robinhood now.
Oh, that's interesting. And right, maybe we can get into the different crypto like business lines, because you have the trading side, but you also have the staking side. Is there anything else to consider?
We have different products. So we have the Robinhood US crypto that is kind of focusing on trading and transferring of assets. We also launched in December of last year in the EU. And so we are also offering transfers, trading of spot, and like you mentioned, staking as well. And then we have a product called Robinhood Connect, which is our on-ramp, off-ramp, that any app developer or any wallet developer can implement into their system. And Robinhood customers or new customers can easily found their wallet using that system. And then the final line that we have is our Robinhood wallet. It's a self-custody wallet, and it supports already like a lot of chains, and there is also like a lot of activity there.
Oh, that's interesting. So for the different business lines, how does Robinhood monetize crypto?
So anything around the spot trading, we receive a rebate from the market maker. We send the orders to. So in the US, this has been like since the beginning from 2018. In the EU, it's a bit more different because we have different ways of monetizing. And so we still receive a rebate from market maker, but there are some chain, for example, where we do not make any revenue, and we just offer it at the price that the customer is seeing. So for example, you can trade Bitcoin with no fee, and we don't make any revenue on it as well. And then on the Robinhood Connect side, we do charge a fee, and it's clearly displayed during the transaction for the customer. And on staking, we take a portion of the reward that the customer are getting.
The Robinhood Connect, is that the ability to transfer, to withdraw?
Robinhood Connect is a on-ramp, off-ramp,
right.
Kind of similar to like something like MoonPay, for example. And so, dApps and wallets can implement it on their platform, and customer can load their wallet using this platform. But also customer can just transfer from their account, and we do not charge any fee there except the blockchain fee that is just a pass-through to the network.
Can you explain a little bit about how the rebate works from market makers?
Yeah, so basically we send the transaction to a market maker, and all of them, like the market maker that is actually receiving the order from the customers, is going to give us a rebate, and it's the same rebate across all the market makers. And the idea is to really put in competition all the market maker and make sure that we can offer the tightest spread to the customer. And if you look about it, we actually did a lot of research on it and analysis. And in average, Robinhood Crypto offer like the lowest cost in the US and in the EU. And that's something that is very important for us.
I was interested to learn more about your self custody wallet. When was that launched, and how many users do you have on it now?
Yeah, it's been launched for a few years, and we also recently launched the Android version this year. Actually, I think it was in Q1 or Q2 of this year. And so the wallet has been downloaded 100,000 of times, and we are available in 100 plus countries. I couldn't tell you the exact number of users because, as a wallet, it's a bit difficult. Like you can create multiple wallets, like these kind of things. So we are mostly focusing on the download number and the origin of location for that.
Great. And okay, so I just looked up the monthly trading volume for equities on Robinhood, and latest was the September number, and so that was 126 billion. So compared to, I know it's not apples to apples because you gave me November crypto numbers, and compared with November, that was it's like around 20% of Robinhood trading. Do you have an estimate of where you would want or expect that share to be next year?
Not really, like in the sense of trading volume compared to equities. Like it's a bit of a funky comparison. Like I think the main focus that we have at Robinhood is we want to give access to any type of financial instrument that our customers are looking for. So if one day they want to buy a specific stock of a company, we should give them the access, and we should give them the best way to access it. And same thing for crypto. And so I think my mental model is a bit more around market share compared to our competitors, versus compared to different financial instruments that are have very little to do between each other. Like someone buying Microsoft or Tesla is not necessarily looking for the same thing when they're buying Ethereum. And so I think for us, like the main focus is what is our market share position compared to the other major US retail platform, and how do we compare to them, and how do we grab market share compared to someone using one of our competitors versus ours.
Right. So in crypto, your main competitors would be crypto exchanges, which is where a lot of people obviously will go to buy crypto first. So how do you compete with that? Like how can you what can you offer that's differentiated from a crypto exchange for buying crypto?
Yeah, I think, what I mentioned before, like we have two main advantages that I think are very hard to match for some of these competitors. Like one is we're a multi-asset class product. So instead of having one app for your brokerage account and one app for your crypto, you can have everything in one app within Robinhood. And, if you add on top of that we also offer a credit card, we also offer, a lot of other products that are not just equities and crypto, you really get to a point where you can think that Robinhood can be the one app for all your financial needs, basically. And the second thing is around cost, right? Like I mentioned, offering the lowest cost to trade crypto in average is something that is really important. Like we want to make sure that customer can access this financial instrument. And so this is also something that is difficult to match. And if you trade on Robinhood, for example, you can get up to 10% more crypto for specific asset than on a competing platform. So I think that brings a lot of value to the end customers, and that's something that is pretty important. And balance the fact that we may not have all the features that some crypto exchange do offer.
Definitely very, very important benefits. But I think, one thing that people buying crypto will look at is just the amount or the number of tokens offered. So right now in the US, I understand you have around 20 tokens offered in the app. You have 40 in Europe. What do you take into account when deciding which tokens to make available? on the platform? And are there other plans to accelerate the number of cryptocurrencies you add, or how do you think about that roadmap?
Yeah, I think for us, it's something that is always important. It's one of the most requested feature from our customers, and we always listen to what our customers are asking for. So more assets is something that they are looking for, and so we are really excited to start adding assets. We added 5 in November, and I think we saw that there was like strong demand and strong reaction from our customers. So we're excited to keep doing this. In terms of like how do we decide to list a specific asset, it's a combination of multiple things. So one is customer demand, like we want to make sure that we offer what our customers are excited about. And 2, we go through listing committees that review new assets and existing assets on the platform, and we look at multiple facets of it, from a legal aspect to operation aspects, security aspect, technology. We want to make sure that, for example, there is enough liquidity in the market. We want to make sure that the offering was fair. We want to try to reduce as much as possible the risk for the customer. And in terms of like number of assets, we also think it's important to offer like the right feature linked to the asset. So a lot of customers are excited about the fact that they can trade at a lower cost in average, or they can use some of our advanced tools to use the assets versus having like hundreds of assets. So it's always a question of prioritization, and we're looking at making sure that we prioritize what our customers are asking for.
Right now, do you think it's more important to add more assets or work on more advanced trading features?
I think it's a combination of the two. If you look at what we've done in the past few months, we added new advanced feature. We added new order types. We improve our charts. We added advanced charts and things like this that customers have been asking for a long time. Like it's pretty important for them to be able to do like the right technical analysis and build kind of the portfolio that they are looking for. And then, at the same time, we also added new assets. So it's a combination of the two. And again, kind of trying to match what our customers are asking for at all time.
The other feature or functionality that you have that we briefly mentioned already is staking in the EU for Sol and ETH. And I know that this has been a difficult kind of feature to add because of regulatory concerns in the US, but with the new Trump administration's supposedly being more crypto friendly, do you think that you'll be able to add staking in the US? Are you evaluating whether it will be a good time to add it, or like what needs to happen for US customers to be able to stake?
Yeah, so I think there is definitely a question around regulatory clarity for staking. At the same time, like if you think about the new administration, there is a lot of hope and belief that they are going to be a lot more crypto friendly. But at the same time, like nothing has really changed, right? Like there is no clear rule or clear legal framework that is available for companies to use. So, I think we do need to work with the regulator, and we do need to work to understand like what is really going to be possible. But it's definitely one of the requested feature from our customers. So we are always kind of looking at it. And what we've seen in the EU is actually very interesting. Like we have seen that our customers were actually extremely excited by staking, not just because of the fact that they are getting rewards, but also because they are able to contribute to the network that they picked. And I think that was maybe something that I wasn't as cautious about initially. Like the fact that customers were actually really interested to help protect the network, help being part of it, but at the same time, like staking being complicated, they didn't really want to do it themselves. And so using a platform like Robinhood was something that got them really excited about. And so we've seen a lot of adoption in the EU, and so it's definitely something that is encouraging for us as a business.
Right now, how have you seen that growth relative to just regular, trading or buying and selling crypto? Do you think staking is kind of a more niche interest, or something that just like the general public wants to do?
I think it's a combination of the two. I think, on paper, staking is great in multiple ways, right? It's one, you help the network. Two, you also get rewards. So customers are overall pretty excited about it. But I also think there's a bit of an education that we need to do to really get the general public ready to start staking and ready to start using it. At the end of the day, it's a term that is being thrown around in many ways. You have different ways to you don't really have different ways to stake, but you see other blockchain or other like competing platforms that are using staking, but actually they are meaning lending behind it, or they are meaning something else. And so I think there is still a lot of education that is required for like the general public to really understand what it means, what does it do, what are the risks associated with it, and what can you get from this. And then there's also a bit of friction around it, like, between the time it takes for the asset to be staked, the time that you will need to unstake it. And so some people prefer to have access right away to the assets versus like waiting the bonding or unbonding period. But I do see, the excitement, and I do see people wanting to contribute to the network. So it's something that, we are pretty happy to start offering and embarking into this journey.
Would you, since people, have been excited to take on this new like DeFi functionality, do you see Robinhood adding more DeFi functionalities, like you mentioned lending? Maybe you could enable users to lend stable coins through and use Aave or like another lending protocol in the back end to earn yield in their stable coins, or maybe take out collateralized loans take out stablecoin loans against their ETH or their Bitcoin. Is that in your pipeline or roadmap, or something that you're considering?
It's always hard for me to say, like, are we considering it? Because in general, like, we have people looking at everything happening in crypto, and we want to make sure that we consider every possibility. And when customers are asking for things, we look into it. But at the same time, also, I think crypto is moving so fast. It's such a wide, space that if we were to offer every single feature, like it will take an army of engineer, and even still, like, I don't think we'll be able to match everything. So I think the posture that we took is that on our centralized marketplace, Robinhood Crypto in the US or in the EU, we have very select feature set, but we really try to make sure that we have all the polish that we like to build, the UX, the UI that, Robinhood is famous for, that is making it easy to use, and also like giving like the most rewards or return to the customer. But at the same time, we know that customer want more, right? So that was kind of the theory behind the Robinhood wallet, where we felt like this was the best getaway to access everything that is available on Web3. And at the time when we were starting to think about building the wallet, customers were often telling us, like, hey, Robinhood Crypto is great, but as soon as I transfer to to a self-custody wallet, I'm getting kind of lost in a worse like situation. Like the UX UI is difficult. There is like all this question around how to set up a wallet. I don't know what to do, and so we took that upon ourselves to make sure that we will build like the easiest to use wallet. If you look at it, the UX and UI is very similar to Robinhood, so people don't have to learn anything new. We added a lot of education content to explain to people how to transfer to the wallet. What does it mean to own your own key, like these kind of things. We launched gasless transactions, so people didn't need to acquire the gas token to proceed to a transaction. Like, really removing all the barriers to entry to a otherwise complicated product. And from there, they can really access any protocol or any dApps that is available. And so, if someone wants to use something that we don't offer on our centralized platform, they can use a wallet for it.
I see. How many chains are available?
We have a lot of chains now. From all the assets that we support on the platform for self-custody, like Dogecoin and Bitcoin, to Ethereum, obviously, and then we have recently added like Solana and Base support. We also have a partnership with Arbitrum where not only is there one chain that we have on the wallet, but also we support like special features like cross-chain swap and things like this. So there's a lot to do on the wallet if you want to.
Definitely. Do you have native swaps?
Yeah, we do also.
Nice. Okay. And you said that Arbitrum is the one Ethereum layer 2 you support, or do you also have others?
We have more than just Arbitrum. We have Base, we have Polygon, and we are keeping on adding more and more with the time.
Great. Okay, and then you said before that you don't have the monthly active users, but do you have a way to give a sense of the the traction that the wallet has? I don't amount self-custodied in through Robinhood, or I don't know what metric you would look at.
The amount self-custody would be difficult as well, because you can always use the same seed phrase between our wallet and another wallet, so that would be difficult. But yeah, look, the download number is something that we track a lot. So it's been downloaded 100,000 of times, and the amount of countries, I think I mentioned like 100 countries as well.
Great. So hundreds of thousands of times of total downloads.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I wanted to also ask you about this narrative that emerged back in the meme stock frenzy days, when GameStop and AMC and all those meme stocks became really popular, and there was this overlap between equity trading culture and crypto trading, in kind of the volatile nature and the online nature of it, with Wall Street bets wanting to short squeeze hedge funds and that whole story. And it became very popular in crypto circles to point out how Robinhood halted trading. And so, people who advocate for just on-chain trading would say, in a decentralized exchange, nobody can stop you from trading. So I to ask your take there. First, what's your response to that argument, and two, whether Robinhood would ever add just blockchain as a backend, just a trading infrastructure where you would maybe tokenize equities and use blockchains as a way of making settlement more efficient. So two parts of that question.
Yeah. I think on the first point, I think it's definitely something that if you're in crypto, if you believe in decentralized finance, you definitely think about the type of solution that it brings on the table for problems, not just for like trading specifically, but also like ownership of the assets. We've seen in the past banks freezing accounts, like this kind of things, and that's something that could not necessarily happen on a self custody wallet. At the same time, as an engineer by trade, I do want to call out that blockchain is not necessarily like the solution to everything. It's a good building block, but for trading and especially like high volume trading, like you mentioned, you need like multiple building blocks that actually all work together. And if you look at blockchain, like we have seen outages, we have seen attacks, we have seen blockchain completely freezing because there was a problem or a bug and we needed all the validator to restart or like these kind of things. We have seen also hard forks, even on chain like Ethereum. Like if you remember back in the days, that happened. And so, blockchain is not going to be the solution of everything. You will need the GUI provider, you will need DEX, you will need customers, you will need the chain and everything to work in unison before you can support like something like this and really reduce the risk to zero. It's going to take time and work. But at the same time, it is something that we're extremely excited about. We think that blockchain is not just a better technology, it's also more efficient. It's also bringing like new features for free. For example, like offering 24/7 is not necessarily possible like in the equities world without a lot of work, and it's not going to be available by default. Same thing with fractionalization of share. It's not something that is offered by default. Like Robinhood does offer it for equities, but it takes a lot of work. And blockchain actually solve a lot of this, and tokenization could solve a lot of these issues. And I think that's something that we want to invest in. And to your point around settlement, like it is something that we already do. So, for example, when we settle with some of our counter parties or market makers, we do use stable coins, and we do settle with them using stable coins. Partly or totally. And that's something that we've seen a lot of value. For example, like during weekends when we need to settle with them, we can send a stable coin versus waiting for the banks to open.
Do you do that with crypto trading or also with equities?
I think right now it's only on the crypto side, but it's definitely something that doesn't necessarily have boundaries on how we use it internally. It's part of our backend basically.
Oh, that's really interesting. So you could see expanding blockchain settlement with stablecoins for equities as well.
Yeah, and we see a lot of value from blockchain technologies that doesn't even have to be necessarily like on a public blockchain. Like you also see like a lot more companies starting to have their own private blockchain, but using a blockchain versus using like a normal database that can be like modified and things like this.
That was actually my next question, which we talk about using blockchain for trading infrastructure, but there are so many companies who are launching their own layer 2s or their own chains, but many are going down the Ethereum layer 2 path, with like these solutions pretty much coming kind of out of the box now for companies. So Coinbase obviously has a base layer 2, very popular, but Sony is launching its own layer 2, and there's many companies that are considering this in the pipeline as well. Is that something kind of what you were talking about, how like you could have like your own Robinhood chain to perform some of these operations?
That wasn't necessarily like, I was more making a general statement, and we've seen more companies, even like big banks, like for example, JP Morgan is using their JPM coin, which is blockchain powered, but it's a private blockchain. It's not like on on the Ethereum network or any public network. I think for us, it's always interesting when people ask me this question on like, are we going to launch another base? Usually what we look at when we want to build feature is like, what can we differentiate the feature with? What can we build that is very different from other partners or other competitors? And there are already a lot of chain available in the nature. So we want to make sure that if we were to build our own chain, there will be something that is very different. And that being said, it's always something that we are interested, but at this point, like, we don't have any specific plan to launch our own chain, and we think that there's a lot of product available out there that we can use.
Great. Okay, and then in the like how you said you've seen how blockchains can make some of your processes more efficient. Would love to learn more about that. Like so far in your use of blockchains, and how like the efficiencies you've seen them help with, and what you've seen what their limitations are. Like what are some of your key takeaways on how maybe other fintechs can how they can use blockchains?
Yeah, I mean, there is a ton of ways to use it. At the end of the day, it's like a big database, right? And so if you think about any service, it doesn't have to be Web3. You can think about any Web2 service. Database is kind of at the core of any product that is built. And so you can think about, replacing almost any service with a blockchain-powered database instead of a normal database, and you will see a lot of people being able to use it. On our side, I think where it's really exciting is around, the fact that we can settle the blockchain at a pace that is very different from traditional finance. If you think about last year, we celebrated moving from T+2 settlement to T+1, meaning like it's still a full day, and you compare that to blockchain, and the Bitcoin being like probably one of the slower block time confirmation will be around 10 minutes. So it's a huge difference that will reduce cost of capital, cost of and will increase efficiency in a lot of ways. And so I think that's a part that we are really, really excited about. And then there is the aspect around building a platform that is based on blockchain. Building a crypto exchange, for example, is a lot more efficient than and cost effective than using like a traditional finance brokerage. So we've been also focusing on that aspect. But for other companies to use it, I think it's hard to say. I think it will depend on many ways on how they are structured and how they are using technology. But I think one of the obvious one is what I mentioned before, like stablecoin being kind of like the easier way to transfer money here and there compared to other medium. And then I think the fact that you've seen like some of the big acquisition this year being like Bridge, for example, like clearly shows that there is a lot of interest into improving like the payments rails, and I think we'll see a lot of innovation there.
Very interested in what you said about exploring a crypto exchange. So right now for Robinhood Crypto, I assume like that already worked kind of like an internal crypto exchange, but maybe it doesn't. Like, can you clarify what you mean and what the difference would be?
Yeah, absolutely. So, an exchange would be meaning that we match customer orders. So, if you trade Bitcoin, you sell Bitcoin and I buy Bitcoin, if we had an exchange, we will potentially match our orders together. Robinhood Crypto is actually a marketplace. And so it means that we are sending orders to market maker, like I mentioned earlier. But at the same time, we also announced the acquisition of Bitstamp. And Bitstamp is an exchange, and so in the future we are planning on building more advanced feature like trading from the order book and things like this post the acquisition.
Okay, so would Robinhood Crypto then transition into a full blown crypto exchange rather than a marketplace?
I think it's too early to say. There's a lot of things that needs to happen before we will make any kind of transition. But I think for us, like having the options to have an exchange and having the options to build like these more advanced features can give like better, well, not necessarily better, but can bring like new features to the customers and something that they are asking for that we cannot necessarily build using a marketplace. But I think it's going to be a bit more like targeting advanced customers that are like a bit more trading experts than the majority of the user on the platform.
What kind of features would an exchange unlock for you?
So anything that for example, will be around the order book. Currently, we don't necessarily offer like anything close to that, where you will see exactly like where is the liquidity and how you can match it. There are like more advanced more advanced order types, for example, that are a bit more difficult to build for us as a marketplace than they would be with an exchange. And then something that we are not offering yet at this point is really any institutional offering, because we were really focused as a company to serve retail customers, and so Bitstamp as an actual established business for institution, and we think that we'll be able to use their already established relationship and build on top of that and combine the expertise of the companies to actually grow into this new business line.
I mean, continuing along those lines, like what are the big milestones that you're excited about for Robinhood Crypto in the next few months or next year?
It's a really exciting time in crypto. I think if you look at the past few weeks since the election, we've seen like a renewed interest. We've seen all-time high for Bitcoin. We've seen a lot more customers engaging with it. So I think if anything, it shows that 2025 is going to be even more interesting than 2024. And so we want to make sure that we are there for our customers. There's a lot of new features that we're going to announce soon. One of them is around our new desktop web application called Robinhood Legend that we already showed for equities last month, but we're also going to add the support for crypto there. And then, this Bitstamp acquisition that I mentioned, I think it's a really exciting time for Robinhood. It will help on the institution front, but also on the expansion since they have licenses across the globe. And I think we'll see from there. There's a lot coming up.
Outside of Robinhood, what interesting, just general market trends are you seeing that are kind of the most exciting to you going into 2025?
Most exciting to me is hard to say. I get excited by a lot of things, but I think the cross between crypto and AI is something that I've been looking at a lot. I think a lot of the issues that we're discussing around AI, around the model, what data are using to train the model, how do we verify the information. I think a lot of these problems can be solved with crypto, and so that's something that I've been looking at quite a bit. And I think blockchain and crypto in general can solve a lot of these issues and also offer like a more fair remuneration to people giving the data and all these kind of things. So that's probably the most time I spent on that. And then I think this week there was a lot of discussion around like the new chip coming from Google, and that's also something that we're spending some time, me and my friend, to think about algorithms that are resistant to quantum and how do we build from there and these kind of things.
Nice. Okay. And then to wrap up, I'd love to understand kind of the more long-term vision for Robinhood Crypto. Like, in 10 years, what role does Robinhood play in the blockchain industry?
Yeah, I think in the short term, we're really focusing on offering the easiest to use and at the same time lowest cost platform to trade crypto. And in the future, we really think that, like I mentioned before, like crypto can be the financial operating system of tomorrow. And I think Robinhood wants to be a pioneer in this. Like we want to use it internally, but we also want to offer it to other institutions. We want to help them get on chain and use that as a better system than the current system that they're using. So, 10 years is a long time. I'm hoping we can do a lot of that in less than 10 years, and hopefully we can see a lot of traction coming up sooner on that.
Awesome. Super interesting. Johann, thank you so much for joining me. We'll be very excited to see, all the things that you guys are planning. Maybe a Robinhood exchange or a Robinhood crypto exchange coming down the line. We shall see. I know you didn't want to say much about it, but it seems like a potential interesting transition. But yeah, thanks again for joining me. This was great.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It was a fun call.